You know what I really hate? I hate having to cut my grass. It feels like I cut it every single week, even though it's every like 2 or 3 weeks, and it grows back so fast in the summer, and it's so annoying. I can't wait for winter so I don't have to cut my grass every 2 weeks and just look at it. If you don't cut your own grass and your parents may cut it for you, or somebody else does it, then just please be happy, because it's gonna be a pain eventually if you ever own your own place and you have to cut your own grass. So just, yeah, enjoy the simple things right now. So, ¿qué pasa, YouTube? How's it going, guys? SixftHax here. Have for y'all today an RU Wi-Fi battle against Sharpedo43. His channel link and stuff will be down below. Definitely go check him out. Me and Sharp typically always have good back and forth battles, and I decided to play him here, and I got this match off of my Discord, where I will be taking more Wi-Fi battles potentially tonight or tomorrow on Friday for sure. So going into this game, as you saw, this is going to be an RU battle, and let me know in the comment section below, for those of you who play and ladder in RU, why do you like the tier? RU has always been the one tier I don't really know much about. It's probably the least informed tier that I know or that I play. So yeah, let me know what you guys like RU in the comment section below. So going into this game, we both actually end up leading off with our biggest threats to each other's team. SD, Z-Move, Virizion basically murders me, but he has no real good switch into my Blastoise, which is amazing. So I figured that I can just probably go for Ice Beam here and hopefully try to bait him to go straight for the Leaf Blade, because if he is Fight Z, he's not going to want to pop it on my Blastoise. So I'm going to try to be cheeky here, bring in my Zap Sipper Goodra, because I'm Choice Scarf, I outspeed him. So I can then go for either Draco Meteor or Fire Blast, and so far things are going according to plan, as I'm gonna Fire Blast here, and apparently my Goodra is blind and I miss, and this is really upsetting, because Goodra along with Blastoise would have been able to apply so much pressure to Sharpedo's team. And now the bad thing about this too is that this makes Xatu a little bit of a problem, because being able to pressure that every single time with Goodra would have been really nice for me, and eventually if I was able to get up rocks, I wouldn't have to worry about it. And having Goodra, which was my only speed control, now gone, kind of sucks if his Goodra is a Choice Scarf variant as well. So I'm gonna bring in my Necrozma, just hope and pray I don't get crit by the Leaf Blade, because at this point this Virizion has been able to get rid of my Goodra, and it's severely weakened my Necrozma, which Combine Necrozma would have been able to come in pretty handy later in the match. And now I'm deathly afraid of the Xatu that he has. I'm afraid of his own Goodra, as well as Golisopod being a little bit annoying. I guess Golisopod isn't as bad, but I lost a lot of pressure in my Scarf Goodra, and the only way I'm going to be able to set up with Necrozma is if I'm able to get off a Morning Sun later in the match. So in comes his own Goodra. I don't know if he specs, Scarfed, or Assault Vested. Judging from the damage, he is definitely not specs, which is good. So he could be Scarfed or he could be Assault Vested still. But either way, I'm going to decide to pull a double switch here into my Mega Blastoise, because I thought that he would bring in Xatu, expecting me to go for Stealth Rock. So by catching him with my Mega Blastoise, I could then go from there, and I can honestly just be aggressive here. The crazy thing about Mega Blastoise in the RU tier is that it actually does not typically run Water Stab, which is kind of crazy. If I'm not mistaken, I think Mega Launcher basically gives it stab on certain moves, the moves that it boosts. So I guess that's how Mega Blastoise can get away with not having to run any type of Water Stab, as it turns out that he's not Assault Vested, but I make a bit of a questionable play by leaving in my Mega Blastoise. I thought that he would expect me to bring in my Registeel, so I stayed in, hoping that he would Fire Blast or Flamethrower me if he had it, and then that way I could just get off some safe damage. But I guess it's not too bad, as long as I don't play my Mega Blastoise incorrectly. It shouldn't be too big of an issue at the amount of HP that it is at. As we both switch out here, he brings in Golisopod, I bring in the Registeel. I figure I can live any move pretty comfortably that he wants to go for, and I'm just going to try and get off some damage with the Seismic Toss. Again, I don't want to get up my rocks because of the Xatu, and you guys are going to see that this is a very common theme to this entire match. That freaking Xatu in the back has me terrified, because I don't want to get up rocks and then just have them bounce back to me. And because my Blastoise has already lost so much HP, I'm going to have to take a turn to rapid spin them away, and that's not going to be very good for me. So I double here into my Blastoise, thinking he would bring in Xatu, but he brought in Deontay. I'm guessing he's still fearing the fact that I could have a water move or potentially the Flash Cannon, which I guess is kind of understandable, but I'm hoping that he doesn't figure out that I don't have any way of hitting Deontay super effectively, as I put this Golisopod in emergency exit range. Unfortunately though, turns out that he has a Citrus Berry, which I think is actually a very common item on Golisopod from what I've seen, so I guess it's not that big of a deal, but I'm expecting him to just go for the first impression here, or potentially just go for the drill run once again, both of which apparently my Mandibuzz takes like no damage from that first impression. I really thought that he was going to do more to me than that, but this is really good because I'm pretty confident that he's not going to bring in Xatu here, because I could go for the foul play or the knockoff. I could even have U-turn potentially, so that would just gain me free momentum or free damage off on the Xatu, so I figured Toxic here was pretty safe for me to go for, plus there was a chance that he was going to want to bring in the Deontay, so getting off a Toxic on that would have been really nice as well. But I get it off on the Golisopod, which means now I don't have to worry about actually damaging it every single turn that it is in. It will be taking residual damage regardless, even though yes, he does have the leech life. It's not going to really be that big of an issue, as I bring in my Registeel here thinking he would go for another first impression. He actually brings in the Deontay, and much like my Mega Blastoise, I actually don't have a steel type move on this Registeel. The best move I have is Earthquake, but Earthquake does less damage than Seismic Toss, so I'm thinking again, hey, he could probably bring in the Xatu. So if anything, I can go for Toxic. It's a safe middle ground play, because if he did expect me to go for Rocks, bouncing back to Toxic obviously will not affect me since I am a steel type, so I'm able to at least Toxic the Deontay, which is really good. So defensively, I can deal with the Deontay regardless of what he wants to do. My Registeel should be able to live any hit, and this is when I finally catch this damn Xatu coming in, because finally he brings it in. He thought I would finally try to get on my rocks. No, I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm gonna bring in my Blastoise, expecting Xatu to come in now, and it turns out that not only am I faster than him, but I get justice for missing Fire Blast turn 3, and I'm able to flinch the Xatu. And it also turns out that his Xatu is very, very Spadef bulky, because if he was physically defensive, then that thing should have just dropped, but it lived, and he's gonna make a really smart play to save the Xatu. But the thing about it is, if this Metagross is not AV or Colbur Berry, I just get to kill it and it drops. I guess this also might have been a bad play, but I figured that getting off any type of damage on the Metagross would have ultimately been really good for my Toxicroak and my Necrozma in the back if I was able to recover up my Necrozma. But it just drops as in comes the Goodra. We know that he is faster than my Blastoise, so I'm going to be forced to switch out here, as he does just end up going for the safe Thunderbolt once again. I think even if he went for Fire Blast at that point, it doesn't, or I wouldn't have done entirely too much damage to me, so I really wasn't concerned if he did want to go for it, as I'm just going to go straight for the Seismic Toss if I'm not mistaken, because I thought that he would just try to throw out Xatu, thinking that I wouldn't be aggressive and actually go for rocks because of how low of HP the Xatu is at, but he's still not bringing it in, and I don't know if he's just playing it very smart or he just is assuming that I'm never going to get on my hazards. Eventually, I'm gonna get on my hazards, dude. This is getting really annoying. I could have got them up like 15 turns ago, but I'm so paranoid of Xatu just being able to come in, as I go for another Seismic Toss on this Deontay. Now the toxic damage is really starting to take its toll on the Deontay, and at this point, if he really wants to get up his rocks on my side of the field, I'm just gonna let him do it. I do not care at this point. I want to get up my rocks. If he's not going to bring in Xatu ever against my Registeel, then damn it, I am going to get up my Stealth Rocks, and they are finally up. Oh, this is so good, because now the Xatu is dead upon switching, and I don't have to worry about it whatsoever. And also this Deontay is just extremely low. Plus at this point, having rocks on my side of the field does not necessarily matter entirely too much, as I will be able to, I think, just stay in here, and I go for another Seismic Toss just to knock out the Deontay. I really didn't mind if he wanted to go there for another Earth Power. I don't really need my Registeel too much at this point, although I guess it is nice to keep around for the Golisopod, but Golisopod is toxic. It's going to be taking 25% upon switching. His last mon as well, which is the Goodra, if I'm not mistaken, does not really do enough damage, or it won't be able to do enough damage to the rest of my team. Plus I have Sucker Punch on my Toxicroak, so I cannot prioritize it and potentially knock him out after the Stealth Rocks, as he does bring in the Golisopod here. This is fine by me. I can live anything. I can live a Drill Run pretty comfortably. I don't mind losing my Registeel once again, so I go for the Seismic Toss, force him out into his Goodra here, which is definitely in range of where Sucker Punch is able to knock him out. And if I really wanted to, I could have potentially just sacked off Necrozma to have been able to keep my Registeel here, but I think I end up switching. Yeah, okay. I thought I made this play. I don't know why I didn't. I thought I was gonna leave in Registeel there, but he finally goes to Fire Blast, so that's not too bad. But by sacking off my Necrozma, I get a free switch into my Toxicroak now, and I will be able to pick off this Goodra with the Sucker Punch. Golisopod coming in should not be able to do any damage to me, even if he goes for the first impression. He does out-prioritize me, but I don't take super effective damage from that, so eventually he will get knocked out by the Toxic. And this damn Xatu, dude. Oh, this thing was such a pain. Luckily, though, we got a little bit of justice earlier in the match, and it's knocked out by Stealth Rocks, as in comes his last, which is this Golisopod. I don't really care if he wants to just go for first impression, even though it does out-prioritize me. It's not really that big of an issue because of how low it is, and there's no way that this Golisopod is going to be able to bring him back the battle. So that is going to be the victory in my favor. Very good and fun game to Sharpedo43, guys. Definitely check him out. Channel link and stuff will be down below. Again, let me know, for those of you who ladder in the RU tier or who play the RU tier a lot, let me know why you enjoy it. And I think with that being said, be happy that you don't need to cut your own grass, and make sure to feed your Pokemon carrots. So I think that's all we have to learn in today's video. So yeah, hopefully you did enjoy. Hit that thumbs up button down below, leave a comment, and I will see you all tomorrow on Friday. So thank you all for watching. Later, everybody.
Because my brain and heart are both tied in the knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.